Okay, picture this. You're in Chennai, maybe near Marina Beach, smell of the sea, and a child nearby suddenly starts coughing, really struggling to catch their breath.
Or maybe it's quieter. A village somewhere in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
Kids playing and one just stops wheezing.
Yeah, it's asthma. Childhood asthma happens all the time here. But the weird thing, the hesitation around inhalers?
It really is strange, isn't it? You have this
Right.
condition affecting so many kids. It can be serious.
Right.
And the thing that works best, getting medicine right into the lungs, people are, well, suspicious of it.
Yeah.
Avoidant even.
It's a real puzzle, especially since World Asthma Day just happened, right? May 6th.
And the theme this year.
Make inhaled treatments accessible for all. That all has to mean these kids in Tamil Nadu.
Absolutely.
So that's our mission today in this deep dive. We want to break down what asthma really looks like here, tackle those myths about inhalers.
And I really show why they're so crucial, why they're lifesavers.
Exactly. Because maybe you listening have heard things, have your own questions about inhalers.
We want to clear the air, basically. Provide some solid facts so we can start seeing inhalers for what they are, essential tools, not something scary.
Okay, let's start with the basics then. An asthma attack. What's actually physically happening inside a child's lungs?
Right, so imagine the airways, yeah. Normally they're like open tubes. Air flows easily,
Like clear pipes?
pretty much. But during an asthma flare-up, two things happen. First, the lining of those tubes gets inflamed, swollen, irritated.
Like a sore throat, but deep inside the chest.
Kinda, yeah. It narrows the passage. Then, the muscles around those airways, they suddenly squeeze tight, constrict.
Oh, wow. So swollen and squeezed.
Exactly. So that open tube becomes really narrow. Think about trying to breathe through, like, a coffee stirrer.
While running around.
Yeah. That feeling of not getting enough air, the wheezing sound, the chest tightness, that's the attack.
And it can range, right, from mild to severe.
Definitely. Sometimes it's a bit of wheezing, maybe triggered by dust, say during Diwali. Other times, it's a full-blown emergency, needing a hospital visit right away.
That really paints a picture. So how big a deal is asthma globally? And then specifically in India and here in Tamil Nadu?
Globally, it's huge. We're talking over 260 million people affected, and sadly, over 450,000 deaths each year.
Wow.
Now, India has about 13% of the world's asthma cases, but, and this is the shocking part, it accounts for something like 46% of the global deaths from asthma.
46%. That's incredibly high.
It is. It's a huge burden. That's from the Global Burden of Disease report, a big study tracking this stuff.
So what's driving that here in Tamil Nadu? Are there specific local factors?
Yeah, we're definitely seeing a rise, particularly in the cities. Chennai, Coimbatore, Madurai, they're growing fast.
More traffic, more construction.
Exactly. Air pollution from vehicles, industry. Then there's construction dust everywhere. Even sometimes the types of trees and plants used in landscaping release a lot of pollen.
So the environment itself is kind of triggering it more.
It contributes
Yeah.
significantly, yeah. It's like the air itself, especially in dense urban areas, is constantly poking at sensitive lungs. You see specific issues like Chennai with its vehicle emissions, Coimbatore, maybe more industrial pollutants mixed in.
It sounds pretty grim, but there's hope, right? Asthma is manageable.
Oh, absolutely. That's the crucial message. It's chronic, yes, needs management, but kids with asthma can live completely normal, active lives.
They can play sports, do well in school.
Everything. And often the key to that, it's those inhalers. They really are the secret weapon, you could say, for keeping things under control.
Okay, let's talk about these secret weapons then. Inhalers. What are they fundamentally? How do they actually work?
So they're basically small devices, usually handheld, and their genius is delivering medicine directly into the lungs. Super efficient.
Instead of swallowing a pill that has to go everywhere else first.
Precisely. It's targeted delivery. The medicine is usually a fine mist or a powder you breathe in.
And what kind of medicine?
Two main types generally. Corticosteroids, they calm down that inflammation, the swelling in the airways,
Okay.
and bronchodilators. They relax the muscles around the airways, helping them open up, making it easier to breathe.
Like tackling both problems, the swelling and the squeezing?
Exactly. It's like sending in a specialist team directly to the problem area, like that Ola cab analogy, straight to the lungs.
Makes sense. And there are different kinds of inhalers you see people using.
Yeah, there are a few main types. Probably the most common is the meter dose inhaler, the MDI, the classic puffer.
When you press down?
That's the one. It gives a measured dose.
Yeah.
Often, especially for kids, it's used with a spacer.
What's that, like a tube?
Yeah, plastic chamber that attaches. It holds the medicine for a moment after you puff, making it easier to inhale properly, helps coordinate the breath. Good for kids who might, otherwise spray it in their eye or just their mouth.
Right, that coordination is tricky. What else?
Then you've got dry powder inhalers, DPIs, no propellant like the MDIs. The medicine is a powder.
How does that work?
You need to take a quick, deep breath in through the device. Your breath pulls the powder into your lungs. No spacer needed.
Like that Rassam drinking contest idea, a sharp inhale.
Kind of. Good for toddlers, maybe, or older kids to get the hang of it. And finally, nebulizers.
The ones with the mask?
Usually.
Yeah.
They turn liquid medicine into a mist you breathe in over several minutes. Often used for babies, really young kids, or sometimes if someone finds the other types difficult or intimidating during a severe attack.
So options depending on age and need. Now the big one, safety. People worry inhalers are addictive or the steroids are bad.
Yeah, this is super important. Let's be really clear. Inhalers are safe. They are not addictive.
Not addictive.
Absolutely not. And the steroids, the corticosteroids in them, the dose is tiny. Really, really low. It's targeted right at the lungs.
So it doesn't affect the whole body much.
Very little. Compared to taking steroid pills, that's the bull in a china shop approach. The dose has to be much higher to get enough to the lungs, so you see more side effects elsewhere. Inhalers are precise, localized, minimal systemic effect.
That's a huge relief to hear. But still, this stigma exists, this negative vibe around them.
Oh, it's incredibly strong. You can picture it, right? A kid in class, maybe a Madurai, pulls out their inhaler.
And suddenly everyone's looking, whispering.
Yeah. Or other parents get worried thinking, oh, that child must be really sick, or is it contagious? Which it absolutely isn't. There's this idea it means weakness, or it's only for serious cases.
And you mentioned Dr. Ramesh hearing parents worry about marriage prospects. Seriously.
It sounds unbelievable, but yes. He's shared how frustrating it is. Parents genuinely worry that needing an inhaler will somehow make their child less desirable as a partner later on. It shows how deep these misconceptions run.
So what are the actual myths? Let's bust them. Inhalers are addictive.
Totally false. It's like saying brushing your teeth is addictive. It's necessary maintenance for health.
Okay, they're only for emergencies.
Wrong again.
Yeah.
Yes, reliever inhalers are for emergencies. But preventer inhalers, often with corticosteroids, are used daily to prevent emergencies by keeping inflammation down.
Right. Prevention is key. What about the steroid fear? Steroids stunt growth.
Again, the dose inhaled steroids is so low, the impact on growth is minimal, if any. Much less risk than poorly controlled asthma or needing frequent oral steroids.
Good to know. And the embarrassment factor. Using it in public is shameful.
This one is tough, especially for teens. But so many successful people, athletes, performers, leaders, use inhalers, often discreetly. It's about managing your health, not something to hide.
It's sad that shame prevents people from getting help. You said this isn't just Tamil Nadu, right? It's across India.
Absolutely. That 2022 Global Asthma Network study, it found something like 70% of Indians with severe asthma symptoms aren't even diagnosed.
70%. Why?
Often because of this shame or just lack of good information, they don't seek help. In some rural areas, people might use code words like SWAS or DAMA instead of saying asthma, hiding it.
Wow. So back in Tamil Nadu, with the pollution in cities and this reluctance, what's the impact on kids here?
Well, doctors like Dr. Vijayaravend in Coimbatore, they're seeing it firsthand. He mentioned like a 15–20% rise in pediatric asthma cases in urban areas just in the last 5 years.
15 to 20%? That's a big jump.
It is. And while air quality is a big driver, he also points to delayed treatment, partly because of this stigma around inhalers making things worse.
And India's overall asthma death rate is high.
Yeah, about 3 times the global average. And the situation in Tamil Nadu cities is definitely part of that bigger worrying picture.
So are more kids using the effective treatments, the inhaled steroids? Is usage going up with the cases?
Sadly, no. That same 2022 study showed really low usage across India, maybe 2–8% of diagnosed patients using inhaled corticosteroids regularly, and less than 1% of undiagnosed people.
That's tiny.
It's like trying to bail out a sinking boat with a teaspoon. It's just not enough.
And hospitals are seeing problems because of this.
Yeah, places like CMC Vellore, Sri Ramachandra in Chennai, they report more kids coming to the ER because parents stopped the inhaler when the child seemed better.
So symptom-free doesn't mean asthma-free.
Exactly. The underlying inflammation might still be there. You need that regular preventer medicine to keep it controlled. Stopping invites flare-ups.
Okay, so let's hammer this home. Why are inhalers the MVPs, the game changers?
Right. 4 key things. 1, speed. Direct delivery to the lungs means relief in seconds during an attack.
Got it.
Crucial.
To speed?
2. Precision. Targeted delivery means much lower doses needed compared to pills, maybe 10 times lower, which leads to...
Minimal side effects.
Exactly. Point 3, minimal side effects systemically because the dose stays mostly in the lungs. And 4, control. Regular use, especially with preventers, controls the underlying inflammation. Fewer flare-ups, fewer hospital visits.
Kids living normal lives.
That's the goal. They allow kids to just be kids.
It makes so much sense. Dr. Prince James in Vellore seems pretty clear on this too.
Very clear. He calls inhalers the cornerstone of asthma care. Period. You can't manage it well without them. He really pushes parents to trust the science, trust the doctors, not the gossip.
And the science is solid.
Absolutely. There was a big Cochrane review back in 2013. Cochrane reviews are like the gold standard for medical evidence. It confirmed combination inhalers significantly cut down attacks and improve quality of life. It's well proven.
And these asthma action plans you mentioned, hospitals are using them more.
Yeah, that's a really positive trend in Tamil Nadu. These plans are personalized guides, like a GPS for your asthma, tells you what meds to take when, what to do if symptoms worsen. It empowers families.
Good. So what's being done specifically in Tamil Nadu to fight the stigma and improve access?
Well, there's quite a bit happening. Awareness drives, like around World Asthma Day events on Marina Beach, in markets in Tiruchirappalli, trying to normalize the conversation.
Getting it out in the open.
Exactly. Free screening camps to find undiagnosed kids. And using tech digital follow-ups. Apps like Cipla's SipAir.
Apps. How do they help?
They help track symptoms, remind you to take meds, stick to the plan, make adherence easier for busy parents.
That sounds useful.
And doctors like Dr. Raghukant in Madurai say it's working. They're seeing fewer ER visits among kids whose families are really using these action plans and sticking to them. Education on how to use the inhaler properly is a big part of it too.
And community efforts.
Yeah, schools training teachers is great. NGOs distributing spacers to families who can't afford them. Little things that make a big difference.
Even putting it in movies or songs.
Hey, maybe. Normalizing it any way we can helps chip away at the stigma.
True, but it's not just stigma, is it? There are real access problems too.
Definitely. Stigma is huge, but you can't ignore practical barriers. The WHO pointed out in 2021, basic inhalers aren't easily available everywhere in low and middle income countries. Steroid ones even less so.
So, in rural Tamil Nadu,
getting a refill might mean a long trip to the pharmacy. That's a barrier.
Yeah.
And cost. Basic inhalers might be affordable, but the newer advanced treatments for severe asthma, very expensive. Insurance often doesn't cover them well.
So affordability is a big hurdle.
It is. Dr. Agrawal's point about needing government subsidies is spot on for Tamil Nadu, too. And while things like telepulmonology and mobile clinics are starting, they need to scale up massively to reach everyone, especially rurally. It's still playing catch-up.
But there's some positive news from the state government.
Yes, that's really encouraging. Tamil Nadu's economy is doing relatively well, and the health department seems to be responding. These pilot programs for free inhaler distribution in districts like Salem and Erode.
Free inhalers.
For young kids, yeah. It's a pilot, but if it works and expands statewide, that could be a massive game changer for access. Really huge.
Okay, so let's bring it back to the parents listening right now in Tamil Nadu. What's the main takeaway for them?
The core message is, asthma isn't a curse. It's not a weakness. And the inhaler isn't a crutch to be embarrassed about. It's a tool.
Like a cricket bat, you said. Or a paintbrush.
Exactly. It's something that enables your child to live fully, to play, to learn, to thrive. It's about giving them a better, healthier life.
And what practical steps can they take right now?
Okay, first, if you're worried about your child's breathing, coughing, wheezing, see a doctor, a pulmonologist if possible. Get it checked out properly at a good hospital or clinic.
Step 1, get expert advice.
Step 2, if diagnosed, get an asthma action plan and follow it. It's your roadmap. Like that Hindu article said, people with asthma can lead normal lives with good management.
Step 3,
learn how to use the inhaler correctly.
Right.
You and your child. Watch videos. Get the doctor or pharmacist to show you. Practice. Correct technique is vital.
Okay, technique matters.
4th, be an advocate. Talk to friends, family. Share facts, bust myths. Help change the conversation in your community.
Don't be silent about it.
Exactly. And 5th, keep an eye on air quality. Use those AQI apps, especially on bad pollution days. Take precautions. Minimize triggers where you can.
Great advice. And a word for the kids themselves.
Yeah. To all you kids listening, using your inhaler is smart. It shows you're taking charge of your health. It's not embarrassing, it's powerful. It's like your own superpower, helping you stay strong and do awesome things. Use it with pride.
Love that. So, wrapping up this deep dive, Tamil Nadu's really at a crossroads with childhood asthma, isn't it?
It feels that way. Big challenges, pollution, the stigma, access issues, they're very real.
But there's also real progress. Digital tools, government action starting, the awareness from things like World Asthma Day. There's momentum.
There is. It feels like more than just treating a disease now. It's about changing minds, changing the whole approach.
And maybe the biggest hurdle isn't the asthma itself. Maybe it's these old myths still hanging around the inhalers.
I think you're right. If we can shift that perception, embrace these incredibly effective tools for what they are, then every child in Tamil Nadu has a much better chance to just breathe easy.
A powerful thought to end on. We need to move past the myths and towards the science so every child gets the breath they deserve.